Hey crafters, I just wanted to let you know that when I did this video, I got all the way to the end and it was a lot of work to edit and put this all together and get all the measurements and that kind of stuff. And I neglected to turn on my extra light that makes this such a crisp image. So it's a bit blurry, a little bit different than my other videos. So if you noticed that, I know what was wrong, and hopefully my next videos will be crystal clear. So thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Hey crafters, it's Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and today I have for you what is called a stretch card or a cascading card. And if you've got 12 by 12 sheets of paper or 8.5 by 11, you can make two different sizes. That's what I'm going to show you today. So this one has four levels or 4 layers. It's made out of the 12 by 12 paper, and this one is made out of 8.5 by 11 paper, and it has like 3 levels to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the directions, basically a template for it, so that you can pause the video and go on your own if you're one of those advanced crafters and you just need the measurements real quick. And then after that I'm going to make the very simple one, which is the 8.5 by 11. And if you want to stick around because the video might get quite long, then you can see how I make the 12 by 12. Let's get started with the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. First of all, you need 2 of them and you need to cut them down to 8 by 6. So I have my 2 pieces already cut to save time. And then we're going to do the scoring first. So put your first one in with the 8" along the top, and we're going to score it at 2, 4, and 6. 2, 4, and 6. And then give it a 90-degree turn. And do a little mark at the 3 inch so that we can find that when we cut off our triangle. Okay, same thing with this piece. Two, 4, and 6. 90-degree turn. Mark it at the 3 inch. Okay, now we're going to use our cutter. And we're going to cut from that 3 inch mark to the corner of our paper. So we're going to line that up on our trimmer and cut that triangle off. And I always double check just to make sure that my next piece, the 3 inch, looks the same. And then I put it into my trimmer to make sure that it's going to come out exactly the way I want it, and line it up again and cut that triangle off. So now we're left with 2 pieces that look like this. We want to make sure that they're exactly the same, so I line them up, and they're going to make a mountain in the middle. And then we're going to fold them in. This is where you can make your creases a little bit nicer. And then out. And then the last one in. And then the same with this one. In. And out, and then back in. Okay, now we're going to make our cuts. You can fold these out. Make sure that your mountain's in the middle. That'll help you maintain what you're doing so you don't get confused. And then we want to cut. We want to do 2 cuts. So on this one, we want the cuts to be from the top to the bottom. And on this one, we want the cuts to be from the bottom to the top. So let's start with this one. We want from top to bottom, and we're only going to cut on 2 of the lines, not the middle one. Okay, so we're going to cut from the top to the bottom, but we're only going to go halfway. So eyeball that up, or you can use your trimmer. Cut it down about halfway. Okay, if they don't fit together, then we'll just recut it, add a little extra cut so that they do. Now those were cut from the top down. This one's going to be from the bottom up, so they're the opposite. So we're going to cut this one on the outside one about halfway up, and this one on the inside about halfway up. We're not cutting the middle at all. Okay, so these 2 middle lines were not cut. Then all we have to do is slide the 2 of the long ones together, and then bring the 2 small ones together push on the folds for the middle here, and then grab the card and squish it together. And then give it another good press. And that's it. You've got your cascading card. Now if you'd like to stick around, I'm going to do the 12 by 12 one next. And that one's a little bit more difficult, but not really. This one was made with a 12 by 12. So you get a little bit more dimension, a few extra layers for putting things on. And I've already went ahead and cut my 12 by 12 paper down to 12 by 5.5. And I've got 2 sheets here. So we're going to go ahead and score these right away at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, again on the other side, or the other piece I mean. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Now we want this one 90 degrees. We're going to mark this one at 2 inches. To cut our triangle off. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that next. Grab out our trimmer. This one is a little bit longer, so it's a little bit tricky. But what you want to do is line up. Go ahead and put this right over the edge. Tilt it. Get this corner off of here so that you can line up that point way up at the top. Oh, I almost don't even fit in here. Okay, that's the best I can do. So you're just going to cut from that mark all the way to the corner. And on both pieces. So this mark all the way up to that corner. I start with the flat side first. I go out to the point. That way I don't dent the point in and have problems with it. So I'm going to put these together. I'm going to make sure that they lined up, and they did. And where we want to cut is we want to cut on every other line. So we want to cut, and here's our mountain if you're following me that way. We want to cut on the 2-inch, the 6-inch, and the 10-inch. So every other. So this one I'm kind of cut from the bottom up. We're going to start at the 2-inch and cut up about halfway, like the other one. Skip this one, cut the next one on the opposite side, about halfway. Skip this one, flip it around and cut this one up. I hope that wasn't too confusing. We're going to do it again. So we want to do the opposite this time. So this one started from the bottom up. So this time we're going to flip this over. We're going to do from the top down. So we're going to cut the first line about halfway. Skip this one. Turn it around and cut this one going up about halfway. Skip this line and flip it around and cut this next one about halfway down. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce my folds here. You can do that if you want. And then we're going to put the card together. So if you put your mountain back together, this is how we're going to put it together. We're going to match up those two in the back, the two tallest peaks of it. Slide those together, and then the two middle ones will slide together, and then the two on the end will slide together. And usually what happens is the card just collapses and you end up looking like you just have a piece of paper here. What you have to do is open up those middle parts and make sure those folds are going the right way. So just grab the front and squeeze it together, and then open up this next one Make sure that your folds are going the right way, and then grab the back and push the whole thing together. Give it a nice press, and your card is finished. So whether you're doing the 8.5 by 11 or the 12 by 12, you can decorate these any way you want, for any season, any occasion. If any of my directions were unclear, or you need to go back and redo the video because you missed a step or you're just struggling with it, don't give up. Try it again. I usually make 1 or 2 of them before I get the hang of it. And I thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next video.